Installment of Touring Talks. I'm here with the Fuchs. Okay. And today, as you saw on the graphic and the newsletter and hopefully the event page, we are going to be talking about our first steps in the touring industry. V, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm V. I am a production professional overall in the touring and live industry. Going on tour and working festivals and traveling around the world while working.
Nice. How long have you been doing that exactly?
Since about 2021.
Nice. So, are there any names that you're willing to talk about? People that you've worked with?
Yeah. So the artist that I've mostly worked with is Tame Impala. I was their production assistant for about a year, and then I've worked with Tyler the Creator, Baby Keem. I've worked in numerous festivals in Mexico with a company called Cloud9, where I've worked with Brandy Carlisle, the Avett Brothers, among other pretty good singers and musicians.
Yeah, no, that's an impressive clientele list. And for someone who's been in the industry, you said 2 years, right?
Yeah,
2 years. That's pretty interesting. So, as you are aware today, we're talking about the first steps of getting into the industry, right? People like myself who are just graduating, who are interested in getting into touring. What are some of the first things that we're going to do? So I'm going to kind of step into this. So we just graduated, right? We throw our caps in the air. We're like, yeah, yay, woo, we got it all done. What would be the first thing you would say? Like, would it be a portfolio? Would it be just start calling people that you think you know, reaching out with networking, online? What's the literal first step you would take?
In regards to the portfolio that you mentioned, you would only have a portfolio depending on what side of touring you want to go into. If you want to go into, obviously, the marketing side of things, more closely working with the record label kind of thing, obviously for that you need a portfolio. Mm-hmm. But if you want to work on tour itself as a technician or someone within the production realm and such, you don't need a portfolio necessarily. Mm-hmm. It's mostly who you know. So among the first steps would definitely be reaching out to people and everyone that a lot of cold emails, mostly cold emailing. Honestly.
It's almost like you said, almost like sales, where you're just like, hey, I'm interested. Can I do this? Yeah. Is there any prior experience that's not touring that would help in that sense? So, like, if let's say someone was on a school board for marketing, do you think that would help, or does it kind of depend on the job, or?
Kind of depends on the job that you want and such, but honestly, a big thing of touring is people skills. If you demonstrate that you have a good attitude and you can work well with other people, and obviously it depends on the person who you're speaking to, of course, because everyone's different within the industry. But, your first job can be retail. My first job was in retail and taking care of children. Of course. And now I take care of adults. So,
is there much correlation there?
Yeah, definitely. Got to make sure they all get to bed at some point.
So that's a good segue. What exactly is your responsibilities while on tour when you're on that bus?
Yeah.
Is it babying those men?
Sometimes it can be. But, so on tour specifically, my role, I've so far been a production assistant on tour. And a lot of the way I always describe my job and my responsibilities is that I am anticipating the needs of others before they even know that they need it. You learn people's schedules and their routines and their habits, and you just observe them as people, and you try to anticipate what they're going to need before they even know that they need it.
Gotcha.
Like, for example, like on my tour, there's a production manager, tour manager, production coordinator, back of house coordinator, stage manager, and then me. So I try and anticipate most of their needs, especially the production manager and the production coordinator, because those are who I work with closely. So like the production manager, first when we get our road cases in the office, first thing I do is I set them both up. I set out his keyboard, his mouse, his stand for his laptop, and his second screen, so that he doesn't even need to think about it. All he does is turn on his computer, and everything is set up for him. So those are things that I do. I make sure that he can do his job well without having to think about the tiny little meaningless things and I can take care of.
Sorry. And for the people who are not well-versed, right, the production manager, he's the one who takes care of the AV, right, the AV side of it, under the tour management. So, like, let's talk a little bit on tour hierarchy. Of course, this is going to be important for stepping into this role. So you're actually, I would say, on the tip top, right? You're in that pyramid. You guys are hired by the artist or the artist manager to actually take care of the tour. And the assignment of duties goes from tour manager to production manager to production coordinators and assistants?
Kinda.
Okay.
So production manager is who, on behalf of the artist or the record label or artist manager,
The promoter, in a sense? Whoever's actually, like,
yeah, it kind of depends on the tour.
Mhm.
Every tour is different.
Mhm.
But from my experience, like, our production manager is hired by the record label, who's also the artist manager, and everything overall for the artist that I work with. And the production manager hires everyone.
Mhm.
Everyone, including the tour manager, production coordinator, production assistant, all the technicians.
Designers included? Or is that assignment, like, kind of handed off?
Well,
Okay.
in my experience, it's been the artist. In my case, my artist is very much a part of the creative process because he does a lot of it with the designer that he works with. So all the tours, everything designed is through that designer that the artist trusts to do it, and it's a collaborative process. But the production manager is who is in charge of hiring everyone, so that the artist doesn't need to worry about those things. He takes care of everything technical and production wise,
Gotcha.
so that the artist doesn't need to worry about those details. He trusts the production manager to run everything so it all goes smoothly. So his responsibility is so the artist doesn't need to think about it, and the record label doesn't need to think about it. It's all his responsibility. And then the tour manager, their responsibility is solely the band. That's all they concern themselves with. In the case of my the artist that I've worked with that is doing like arena tours and headlining festivals, the production coordinator is in charge of the entirety of the crew.
Gotcha.
And then me as a production assistant, I'm mostly focused on crew, but because of the way we operate as a group, I do a lot of stuff as well with the artist and helping out the tour manager and assisting her with whatever she needs, like setting up a gaming console and things like that, making sure they have their water bottles for stage, making sure we got stage towels, helping to get meals for the band and things like that.
So organizationally, you guys kind of report to different people, as you mentioned, right? So the production manager, they take care of, like you said, the crew and the actual people that are on the tour, right? The staff that is there, while the tour manager, you're saying that they mostly deal with the artists themselves.
Yes.
They're that representative, kind of?
On a tour of the size that I've worked on, because I can only speak for the tour that I've been on, it's production manager, tour manager, production coordinator, production assistant kind of thing. I'm at the bottom. I'm on the bottom of the tier list. My job is just as important as everyone else's.
Of course.
Because everyone has their responsibilities, and we all support each other, and it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and I've always found it fascinating. I mean, I've studied entertainment management. I think you did as well, right? In entertainment management in the arts, I would just call it the arts, is just so unique because it has those variations in them, right? Like, it's not like CEO, COO, blah, blah, blah. It's very fluid in a sense.
No
Like,
tour is the same, in all honesty. It just depends on the team and what works well for them. Like, when I go on to do any other tour, it's going to be extremely different from what I've done. And it's just about rolling with the punches and learning to adapt and knowing, just being able to work well with different personalities, honestly. Which is a very important aspect of this industry, just your personality traits.
So would you even say someone who has like a background in psychology would probably be better off starting out, or is there any other useful skills that people can kind of build on outside of like studying the industry itself?
I mean, a psychology degree would be great if you're trying to be a production coordinator and you're just trying to take care of people. But also, it's just, having a psychology degree doesn't make you, it doesn't make you qualified to do the job, but it gives you a different background on things that maybe like I won't have, or my, different people that I've worked with that I know might have. So
to surmise in a statement, do you think that anybody can be in touring as long as you have the right know-how and the right connections? Yeah?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're passionate about it, you know the right people, someone's willing to give you a shot and let you try it out, and you do it well and you enjoy it, and you can sleep in a little coffin-sized bunk for about a month and a half. I mean, Well,
that's the dream, right?
Yeah, that's I love it. It's great. New city every night.
No, for sure. I did want to make a statement on... Oof, it just flew out of my head. We were saying production, coordination, production. Don't you just hate when that happens? So, we mentioned a lot about passion, right? Passion. And I think everyone has a certain degree of passion, but a dog is also passionate, right? Let's say it like this. how would you say discipline fares into this? Like you're saying you got to, go to the next city every morning, wake up. So how disciplined would you say you have to be in order to make it in touring, right? Like there has to be a certain level of just grit, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's, as much as people like to think that it's just a job about traveling and like, oh, you get to go to a new city, oh my God, you get to go to Paris for the day kind of thing. It's a tough job.
Oh, yeah.
It's like normally when I'm on tour, I think I sleep maybe like 3 or 4 hours a day, and then I work for like 20 hours. So, it's about being disciplined and being able to handle those long hours without losing it. And especially when you're on the side of production where you're the people that the technicians go to for guidance and for direction, you need to not lose your cool under stress.
Back to those people skills kind of, right?
And in regards to discipline, like on tour there's a lot of temptations of going out to a bar and having a drink and having too many drinks, but the next day you gotta wake up at 4 a.m. for your lobby call and you gotta go to work. You can't spend all night out drinking in a new city or kind of thing. You need to set limits, and you need to know that at the end of the day, you're traveling, you're having all this fun. At the end of the day, it's a job.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you're getting paid to work and to put on a show that is going to be seen by thousands of people, and it is your responsibility to make sure it happens.
Yeah, and you're required to be there that next day, so it kind of comes back to bite you in the ass, huh?
So at the end of the day, everyone likes to think it's a fun job, you get to travel and everything. It's a tough job. Yeah. And it's not meant for everyone, and not everyone's going to do well at it, even though they think that they want to do it. They might not be able to handle it.
100%. I always believe that there's like a certain personality for certain jobs, and it's either like make or break, right? Like I feel like, would you say that touring is one of those things that you have to do in order to really say you can do it? Is it one of those like forged by fire? You're like, well, I was or wasn't meant for this. Period.
Yeah, unless you do it, you're never gonna be able to know if you can do it. I mean, before I started touring, I knew I wanted to get into it. I had, it was a dream of mine to tour, and right before, like I would never. I mean, I knew that I would probably be good at it because I've spent my entire life traveling as a kid, sleeping in cars and sleeping on planes and everything.
The skills you were developing.
Everything has led to this moment. Yeah, I've just been doing it more often. So I knew that I was going to be good at it.
And you get paid for it now. Yeah, that's cool.
I know. I love getting paid for it. It's the best part.
That is great, isn't it? So I actually am liking this path that we're currently going down, like the glitz and glamour, right? People are just so attracted to it. Are there any other challenges? Obviously, we talked about the, it's a job, the temptations. Is there any other major challenges that a student or someone who wants to get into this should know about? Maybe something like taxes, self-employment. Are you considered self-employed?
Yes, I'm completely a freelancer. I no longer work full-time with any companies. I work for myself. But I mean, in regards to like things that people should know, that I would say, like, the reality of the job is if you do well and you're on a tour that goes on for a while, you're gonna miss out on things. You're gonna miss out on family birthdays. You're gonna miss out on special events. You're going to miss out on a lot of aspects of life that normal people get to be a part of. Like, I've missed, unfortunately, my mom's birthday the last 2 years. I missed Thanksgiving last year. I missed my brother's birthday. I missed, my family wanted to see me, like, several times throughout the year, and I'm not able to because I'm away. I'm in Europe working. Or they try and call me, and I don't pick up the phone because I'm too busy. You miss out on a lot of things, and life moves on for other people while you're gone, and life stands still while you're gone. Basically.
If I may inquire, how was that first time for you coming back? What was your first tour like? How long was it? A couple months?
My first tour was 5 weeks,
and that was with
Tame Impala,
right? So. What point of your life were you in? Like, did you just graduate, or were you just kind of doing something? Was it in between, or?
So when I first started touring with them, it was last year in March. Okay. I was in my spring semester. I left in the middle of the semester. Didn't tell my teachers I was leaving. I just left.
Nice.
Hope for the best.
Hell yeah.
I hope for the best.
You gotta do what you gotta do what you gotta do.
No, yeah, but I left for tour, and I was gone for 5 weeks, and I got back, and I was a little 20-year-old kid. I was still pretty young, and I came back extremely stressed because I had just been thrown into an environment that I did not know how it would be. Like, I had spoken to industry professionals and everything, but until you actually do it, you don't. Yeah. Nothing's gonna prepare you for the way it's gonna be.
Back to like forged in fire, like you don't know until you're there.
So I got back and I was extremely, like, just like stressed and like overwhelmed with everything. So
there was a break in the tour?
Yes, there was a month break because we toured in March, went back in May. But yeah, we've always had like at least like a month or 3 weeks as a break in between because the band that I work with has families and stuff like that. And so the first tour, I was very overwhelmed and everything. And then as it continued on, I got better. And I did, like, my entire last year of college, I did it completely while on tour. Like, I remember being in London writing essays on the bus.
Yeah. I mean, that's an exciting experience, though, right? Who else can say that, right? Like,
it was, and it's funny because everyone's like, oh, let's go out for dinner. And I'm like,
I got a paper.
I have an exam due. Yeah, I mean, I remember being in Australia and, like, waking up at, like, 3 p.m. like, oh, my God, I have a paper due in, like, 2 minutes. It's, like, almost midnight somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, the time difference has got to be crazy.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, yeah, let's go back to setting that scene, right? Okay, so mid-spring semester, you said?
Yeah.
Right, your mid-spring semester. You're still in college. And you're just... I'm so excited I'm going to do this tour, and you get that break. You flew back home, or was it just a break? Okay, home, so let's say instead of the months you were gone, you came back 1 month? How was it just that 1 month coming back? Was it too much of a shock? Was it just a little bit? Was it like a spoonful of what's
I got a taste of the industry that I had been begging to get into, and I was already, like, begging to go back out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was already begging to go back out. I was like, I need more of this. Like, I can't get enough of it. And, it made being home, like, not pleasant because I wanted to be back out. But then, later on in my later on in the year, I was away for a total of 3 months. And when I got back, that was hard because I had been gone for 3 months. I hadn't really talked to a lot of my friends except for, like, maybe 1 or 2 of them. And everyone else, I had kind of lost contact with, and I felt very isolated and alone. Because it's a shock coming back. Even, like, simple things like going to get groceries and cooking dinner. I hadn't done that in 3 months. Yeah. I had been eating catering or eating out. So you get home and you're like, how do this is weird.
God damn it, clean my laundry. Oh, wait, that's me. That's our responsibility.
Laundry is something I've always enjoyed doing. I do it still on tour.
Nice. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But cooking is something, like, you don't have a kitchen to cook in. I'll make a sandwich on the bus, but that's kind of about it. Yeah. I can't make anything else. Can't make some rice. Or can't make some chicken and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, it's all you can do is make a sandwich. It's kind of it. PB&J. Yeah. And a nice avocado toast kind of thing. Yeah, and I think that's definitely maybe a thing for future discussion. Nutrition on tour, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of bad things that can happen there, right? Maybe just falling into that lifestyle. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, but I would like to end this on a positive note because I feel like we kind of went down the negative side. What were your best experiences when touring, and what would you say to inspire those coming into it? So my favorite part about being on tour and, like, my best experiences is the people that I've met, in all honesty. I spent the last year touring the world with an amazing group of people that taught me so much and supported me throughout the entirety of my college career, basically. And I gained some really great friends from it and really great memories. Getting to travel throughout Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and all throughout the United States is something that
You've been to Spain too, now, right?
Yes, I've been all over Europe. And those are memories that I'm never going to forget, and the people that were with me, I'm never going to forget any of them. Like, even now, it was just my birthday a few days ago, and they all texted me happy birthday. And it was just the sweetest thing ever. And then a piece of advice that I would give to students is support one another. And everyone that you are going to school with is your network.
Take notes.
Be kind to everyone. Treat everyone with respect. And one day, whether you like it or not, you're all gonna end up working together. The people sitting next to you in your class are probably gonna give you a job one day, and you're probably gonna give them a job. So treat everyone with respect. Don't be mean. Be kind, and have fun, and just keep going.
We all run the same circles, am I right? Well, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you guys for joining us on our first installment of Tour Talks, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.